Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Reef Life with myself, Dutch Reefer. So it's been a while since my last video when I was still setting up the tank, and in the meantime I have been able to let the tank mature a little bit and make a new video for you guys so I can tell you a little more about what's happening inside the tank and some of the developments that have been made since the last video. So the Rescape has remained largely the same as in my last video. As you can see, it's still intact, so it's still the same structure as the last time I showed you. There's just some added corals to it. Also the little island on the left here remained the same. I did decide to move the reef branch to the back of that, so I glued it on there so it gets a little bit more of a depth structure. And in the meantime, I also acquired a clam, a Maxima clam, Tridacna maxima, which is a very beautiful and large specimen, as you can see. I didn't really mean to buy one of those, but well, yeah, sometimes things just happen, and as it happens, one of the people around here decided to quit the reefing hobby, and also a store that he had, and he still had it lying around. It has been in his tank for years. I've seen it for at least 3 or 4 years there, so it has been doing very well in a reef tank for a long time. So I decided it was a good thing to try, or at least give it a new home and see if it would do great. And so far it has been, luckily. So it's been in here for about 3 or 4 weeks now. As you can see, it extends nicely, and it's pretty happy where it is right now, judging by its looks. Then, of course, a lot of other new coral as well. A bit of more standard corals like these Goniopora on top. So the blue one right here, bluish. The red one over there, the bubblegum over here, and as you can see from up top, especially the red one is already showing a nice growth along the edges. As you can see by the white lines across the edges, it means that it's growing there. So it's a very good sign to have those growing edges. Then a large piece of organ pipe coral on the right here that I didn't really get because I really like this coral, but I got it at a quite early stage, and I saw that it had a very nice base, as you can see right here, with a lot of micro and macro life inside it. So I thought it would be a very good idea to get this piece to seed the tank with new bacteria and new life, because of course I did start all over again with just dry rock and bacteria. So it's always a good idea to get some life from other tanks inside your tank. So it's a tip from me: if you get a new tank, try to get some stuff from other people's tanks as well, to make your own tank mature faster, to get more biodiversity inside your tank. What you already saw are these two very nice clownfish right here. I got them from the same guy where I got the Maxima clam. I don't think they're a designer breed, but they do look very nice because they are mostly black with a bit of orange, of course, as you can see by the head that's peeping out right now. The male is the smaller one. He's a bit more orange, and the female, the larger one, she has a bit more black. And I really like the look of those, and my wife as well. She picked them out, so of course she likes them a lot as well. And as you can see, when I get inside the area towards the tank, they know when where they get fed. That's right here at this corner, so they always show up when I show up, as you can see right now. They're quite smart creatures, and beautiful as well. So also a lot of green in the tank, so a lot of soft corals, as you can see right here. I think those were in last time, in my last video, at least in my last couple of Instagram posts. Instagram.com/Dutch Reefer. This one as well. And these have been really nice and fluffy since the very beginning. As you can see, they do look very nice inside the tank. The coloration is very good. This candy cane as well. It's not super bright green, and I've seen them a lot brighter, but it was a nice frag that's already growing into quite a colony. So I thought it would be a nice addition to the tank. I always like seeing candy canes grow inside the reef tank. Of course, as well, the mandatory GSP on the back wall, as you can see right there. It's always a very nice grower inside the tank, and I always like to attach it to the back pane of the aquarium, just to see it grow and have a nice green patch of grass along the back of the tank. Then here's something you might recognize from earlier, because it's my third frag now. The previous two have died in my previous tanks. So this is a Hail Mary that this one will survive. It's a Raja Rampage chalice. As you can see, the colors are really insane. It's bright green with bright yellow. Yeah, that's the way it should look. And hopefully it will grow and not die on me. These are not cheap frags, but they do look very, very beautiful. And it looked very healthy as well when I bought it. And then there's this pink Goniopora that my wife bought for me, which is of course a very nice gift for the fact that we were together for 1 year. We married 1 year ago, so it was a gift for our marriage anniversary. And I really, really like this as well. I mean, just look at the color and the fluffiness on this frag. I do hope that it remains this healthy and starts to grow. As you might know, and as I've shown in previous videos from a long time ago, Goniopora can be quite tricky, and they need just the right amount of flow and light and parameters to thrive. And I hope I can continue to give that to this Goniopora. Then a couple of others, most notably this very large soft coral. I think it's an elephant's ear is what they're called. I don't know if it's the correct English term, but they are indeed quite large. So I can see where the term elephant ear comes from. It's a mushroom coral that's yeah, it has really distinct colors. And the funny thing is, there's a stripe going from the center to the edges, and then at a certain point there's just this green speck on these three edges as well. You maybe would have expected it to have like a cross, but there's no line here, so it's just this line and this line, and along those lines there's a green spot. And yeah, I really liked that when I saw it in the store, and decided I couldn't let it stay there. I needed to have that in my tank, especially since it's also somewhat a more easy to keep coral, which is always good in a relatively new tank. I think one of the hardest to keep corals for a new tank are Acropora, and in this case I have a small frag of a tricolor Acropora. As you can see right here, it's still small, but it does show some polyp extension, so I'm hopeful that it will survive. And then this Millepora right here. I always have a soft spot for Millepora, since they are so beautiful. The hairs, I don't know if you can call them hairs, but they do look like hairs coming out of the coral, are just amazing to watch. It's a bit pink. I would have expected it to be a bit more green. You can't really see that right now. Yeah, there are some hints of green in there, which might show up later when the tank gets a little bit more stable. That's at least what I hope for. Speaking of the parameters, the tank has been a bit low on nutrients for the past few months. I've been still trying to find the right balance between my dosing intervals and amounts. and it's always been a bit on the low side. So the calcium is still around 300, 320. The KH is still around 8, 9, and the magnesium around 1200. So I'm trying to boost those a little bit to get them just a little bit more into a safety and secure margin where they are not on the lower end. I always like to keep it that way. Phosphates and nitrates are good. They are around 10 for the nitrates and 0.05 for the phosphates, which is a decent value for a tank like this. Of course, there's not a lot of pollution in the tank since there's only 2 fish. I do feed them every day, and of course I have proper filtration set up, which is the last thing I want to show you today. Is the skimmer. The skimmer is doing very well. It's a Nyos Quantum. I never had one of those before. It's the first time I'm using a Nyos or Nyos skimmer. I'm actually very happy with the way it skims. As you can see, it's nice dark skimmate. It's not the most tasty thing to see, but it's always good to see if the stuff inside the cup is dark brown and there's a lot of foam, a lot of good thick foam. And of course the ReefMat, which has really been instrumental in my reef tanks for the past 2 years. I wouldn't want another reef tank without one, or of course an equivalent to the ReefMat, but having a filter roller is such a great innovation in the reefing hobby. Keeps your water clear, no more need for UV filters, for me at least. So it's just this. Of course, some bio balls from Maxspect, which I've had in there for a long time. These are new ones. I did seed them with some bio balls from another guy's tank, but there are plenty of them around in here. And the last thing I want to show you is the cabinet, which I've decided to clean up a bit. As you can see, there's a reef can inside, which is a new product by Red Sea. It's one of those long, tall jerry cans, which you can fit inside the cabinet. It actually holds 16 to 18 liters of water. I think there's a sign that says 16 right here, but of course you can add some more, which adds up to 18. And the dosing containers, which I have 3 of for the daily dosing. And then I decided to get rid of all the cables and do some cable management, and have some nice holders for the controllers. My brother 3D printed these, so I'm very happy with those. And yeah, that's it. So that's it for the technical part of the tank. Then we get back to the top and conclude this video. I hope you enjoyed this one. It's a slightly longer one than normal, but of course there's a lot to show. I could show you a lot more still, but we need to keep some stuff for the next videos as well. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Have a nice weekend, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.